4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is
Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom.
Please stand by.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hey everyone, welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. This is the place to come when you want to have some fun. My name is Rebecca, and I know that your English will improve today. Now, how many of you have met a new person? Perhaps in class, at church, or even on the MRT. I hope that everyone raised their hands. No matter who you are at some point in time, you will meet a new person. And sometimes it can be a little awkward if you don't know what to say. Well, today's lesson just might help. Today's lesson is called, Is Small Talk Necessary? And today you will find out what small talk is. Well, friends, I hope you have your magazines open to today's lesson because it's time for us to begin. So, follow me.
Is small talk necessary? A look at the benefits of small talk and helpful ways to use it. What's the first thing you do when you enter a crowded room? You probably look around for a familiar face. When you can't find one, you have two choices. You can stand alone, or you can walk up and speak to someone that you don't know. Starting a conversation with a stranger, though, is often uncomfortable and can be a little scary. Yet, as you go through life, you are sure to encounter strangers in many different situations.
Hello everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 我们来看这篇文章的第一个重点 ，scary 这个形容词，意思是吓人的、恐怖的。它的比较级和最高级都是去 y 加 ier 或 iest。例如 ，The Halloween decorations at that store are too scary for young children. 那家商店的万圣节装饰对幼童来说太恐怖了。Scary 的动词是 scare， 受惊吓，使害怕。例如 ，Yikes! I didn't know anyone was home. You scared me. 哎呀，我不知道有人在家，你吓到我了。Scare 也可以当名词，就是惊吓、恐慌。例如 ，The airport added extra security after the recent bomb scare. 机场受到最新的炸弹恐吓后，加强了更多的安全措施。继续，我们来看 encounter 这个动词，在课文中是指偶然遇到。例如 ，Kevin knew he had encountered a problem when his computer screen turned blue. Kevin 的电脑萤幕变蓝色时，他知道他碰到麻烦了。Encounter 也指遭遇，指负面的遭遇。例如 ，Although the first part of the exam seemed easy, Tom soon encountered difficulties with the second half of the exam. 虽然考试的前半部似乎很简单，但 Tom 很快在下半部就遇到困难。Encounter 也可以当名词，常跟 with 连用。例如 The hikers had a brief encounter with a bear during their recent camping trip. 登山客们在最近一次的露营旅行时偶遇一只熊。
Well, thank you very much, Jack. And friends, my name is Gabe. Let's get right into this lesson. Is small talk necessary? And then we read a look at the benefits of small talk. Rebecca, tell us about that phrase, a look at something.
A look at something. You can use this phrase when you want to examine or look at something a little bit closer or just draw attention to something.
So, for example, in the language lab, Jack could have said, let's take a look at today's key words or some of today's important words, right? And today we're going to take a look at the benefits of small talk and helpful ways to use it. So the idea is people kind of having conversation about things that are not the most important things in life, but they could still be good conversations.
That's right, and they could potentially get a conversation started. What's the first thing you do when you enter a crowded room? You probably look around for a familiar face. And when you can't find one, you have two choices. What two choices do you have?
You can stand alone, or you can walk up and speak to someone that you don't know. And speaking of which, it seems like there are a couple different types of personalities that could be you, right? We're talking about introverts and extroverts. And let's learn more about introverts and extroverts right now in
the Info Cloud.
Hello everyone, welcome to Info Cloud. When you're around a group of people, how do you feel? Do you enjoy socializing or spending time alone more?
It sounds like you're asking our students if they are introverts or extroverts. Let's talk about the meaning of these two words.
Well, many English words have their root in Latin. The prefix intro is one example. Intro means inwardly or within. Therefore, an introvert is someone who gets their energy from inside themselves or from being alone.
An extrovert, on the other hand, gets their energy from being around other people. Extro is a variant of the prefix extra, which means outside, beyond. Extroverts like to be social and feel energized after being around others.
Hey, I can think of another word with the prefix extra. Extraordinary. I guess it would mean beyond the ordinary.
Finding common Latin roots in English words is a great way to guess their meanings if you're not sure of the exact definition.
I agree. Whether you are an introvert or an extrovert, we hope you have an extraordinary day.
最近几年，人们开始注意到 extrovert 和 introvert 之间的差别。extrovert 就是拥有外向性格的人 ，introvert 当然就是拥有内向性格的人。通常 extrovert 基本上是人所谓的人来疯啊，身边的人越多啊，他就越精力旺盛。但是这样热闹的社交场合对于 introvert 来说，却会消耗他们的精力。introvert 喜欢独处，对于他们来说，安静比热闹来得自在。他们也喜欢思考，从中获得灵感，让自己充电。不过每个人的性格都有他的独特性，有的时候也没有办法清楚的界定你是属于外向性格还是内向性格。这就是今天的 Info Cloud， 我们下次云端见。
Now, there's a couple of words that we want to talk about that don't appear in our lesson, and that is the word social butterfly versus a wallflower. Now, we already talked about extrovert versus introvert, but what is a social butterfly? That's just someone who loves being with people, whereas a wallflower, someone who is rather shy and doesn't really like to talk to a lot of people.
So I might ask somebody, where do you fall on the scale, right? Are you more of a social butterfly or a wallflower when it comes to parties? And I might use the phrase, I'm more of a something. I think you could probably guess, Rebecca, I'm more of a
social butterfly.
Yep.
Definitely, no doubt about it.
What about you, Rebecca?
Well, that's interesting because when I go to parties, I don't consider myself a wallflower. I do enjoy talking to people, but sometimes I do need my space.
Yeah, so you're kind of somewhere in the middle, right? Okay, well, friends, remember those phrases, social butterfly and Wallflower. Okay, you might have to meet new people in different situations in life, right? And that is okay. Sometimes you might have conversation trouble, though. Let's find out what some of our studio classroom teachers have to share about this.
For some people, it can be very nerve-wracking to talk to strangers. What I like to do is always ask strangers some really simple questions to get to know them, such as, where are you from? Where did you grow up? Tell me about your family, or where did you go to school? I think those really simple questions are a good way to start a conversation with someone you don't know. I also really like to ask people about their names because I have a pretty unique name. So when I meet another person with a special name, I like to ask them about the backstory. And if you still feel nervous, just throw on a pair of glasses. That'll give you some confidence.
Small talk is easy, especially when you talk to a small person. Like me? Yes, like you. You can just ask simple questions. How old are you? 6? And what do you want to be? 7? Well, small talk can be fun. Just find someone fun to do small talk with and practice. Yeah, it's easy. Where do you live? With Daddy? With Daddy. And where does your daddy live? With me. And where do you and your father live? Together.
A great way to start conversations that I found is to just ask someone to tell me their story. Then they feel free to tell me the things that they think are really meaningful about them. And then as they tell me things, I can learn about them and learn what more questions I can ask to get to know them more. It's all about making someone feel free to really share about themselves. That's what I want people to do for me, and that's what I want to do for them. And I think it's a really great way to make new friends and build good relationships with people that you haven't met before.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Studio Classroom, where we are talking about this idea, is small talk necessary? Now we all know that at some point in time, we are going to encounter a stranger, right? But we have a choice to make. Do we want to start a conversation with that stranger, or do we not? Perhaps if you're in a class, you do want to start a conversation. You may want to start a small conversation called small talk. Well, friends, we have more to learn about this idea of small talk, so let's get back to our lesson.
Is small talk necessary? At those times, a need to connect with others will hopefully outweigh your fears. In order to prepare, it helps to learn the art of small talk. Small talk is the beginning stage of a casual conversation. It usually takes place between strangers or casual acquaintances. With small talk, 2 or more people search for common interests or points of connection. If one is discovered, the conversation usually begins to flow more naturally, often resulting in deeper discussion.
接下来我们看 outweigh 这个动词 ，out 这个字首有超过的意思 ，weigh 是称重的意思，所以 outweigh 就是指重于、大于什么。例如 ，Bob outweighs Sam by 20 kilograms。Bob 比 Sam 重20公斤，或是 The advantages of a career change outweigh the disadvantages。职涯的转换的好处大过坏处。来学几个用 out 当字首的单字 outnumber 指在数量上超过 ，outvote 指得票上超过 ，outstay 超过停留的时间。最后我们来看 acquaintance 这个名词 ，acquaintance 在文章中是指认识的人，例如 During his freshman year, Tyler made many acquaintances, but very few friends are true. Tyler 在大学第一年期间认识很多人，但真正的朋友却很少。A business acquaintance 就是在生意上认识的人。A casual acquaintance 就是泛泛之交。Acquaintance 当不可数名词用的时候呢，是指认识、了解，也可以指对一种学科的所知。例如 The students had no acquaintance with calculus. 学生们对微积分一无所知。Acquaint 是 acquaintance 的动词，意思是使认识、使了解。过去分词 acquainted 是可以当形容词用，是认识的意思。例如 Jerry has not yet been acquainted with the new Chinese teacher who was hired just last month. Jerry 对上个月刚聘任新的中文老师还不是很认识。All right, let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you very much, Jack. Now, we've already discussed this idea of having to talk to strangers, and sometimes that can actually be a little scary, but the truth is, when we go through life, we are going to encounter strangers. Isn't that correct, Gabe?
Well, you're right. And so we read here, at those times, a need to connect with others will hopefully outweigh your fears. And we want to talk about something here in this sentence, the idea of connecting with somebody.
Now, in this context, or the idea of to connect with, just means that you join or be joined with someone else. Or it really can also mean that you find familiar ground, something that you can actually talk about.
Sure, or maybe sometimes like an emotional connection, something that really draws you to the other person and vice versa, right? Okay, so you can connect with other people, or sometimes you might say, you know, I tried to have a conversation with somebody, but I just really don't connect with him, or I just really don't connect with her for some reason. It probably means that you don't have a lot of common ground, a lot of similar interests or things to talk about.
That's right, but hopefully in those situations, maybe if you're in a new class and you don't know nobody in the class, your desire to connect with people will outweigh your fear of having to speak to a stranger.
That's right. You know what? It reminds me of a related phrase, right? If you connect with somebody, of course, you have something in common, you're talking with each other. Sometimes we also use the word to reconnect. I haven't been in touch with her in so long. I need to reconnect. I'll reach out by sending a message on Facebook or something like that. Let's reconnect.
Excellent example. Well, in order to prepare, it helps to learn the art of small talk. And we want to take a look at the phrase, the art of. This just refers to a skill or a special ability.
Okay, so the art of small talk is what we're talking about today. But we can use kind of this phrase in different ways, right? For example, maybe you're really good at painting a picture of something kind of abstract, 有点抽象，对不对? Well, that's the art of creating pictures and communicating ideas to people. And in this picture, for example, it's the idea of something outweighing something else.
Exactly. Very great. Good example, Gabe.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The art of something, usually we use this phrase in talking about something like unofficial. Like you're not going to learn about this in art school, right?
No.
Right? So today we're learning about the art of having small talk. You know, growing up here in Taiwan, I learned how to kind of speak in what I call Chinglish. I can tell you all about the art of speaking in Chinglish, Rebecca. Sometimes it's 一点麻烦, but a lot of times it's great fun, and it's something that you could try as well. The art of speaking in Chinglish.
The art of speaking in Chinglish.
Yeah.
And that is definitely a very special skill because I've tried it before and it's rather difficult.
It's rather 麻烦.
非常麻烦.
It's 非常麻烦?
对啊.
Right. Okay, well, there it is. A little bit of Chinglish for everybody. Combining English and Chinese into the same sentence. That's a form of Chinglish anyway. But let's get back to the art of small talk.
We read here, small talk is the beginning stage of a casual conversation. It usually takes place between strangers or casual acquaintances. And so, usually before you have a deep conversation, you might start out with small talk, like, oh, hi, the weather's nice today.
Oh, yes, quite. It's good.
Yes. How are you doing today?
Ah, right.
Did you have a good weekend?
Well, there's that. Yes, did you have a good weekend? Now, I would use that kind of a question with somebody that I already know, like an acquaintance, perhaps.
Right.
Or even a good friend.
Good point.
But maybe a stranger, you could ask that question. Or maybe you want to start with something even more basic to get to know that person.
Ah, like, what's your name?
Yeah, exactly.
Perhaps. Anyway, we continue on. With small talk, two or more people search for common interests or points of connection. Now, we already talked about to connect with, but this idea of connection is the state of being related to someone or something, meaning that you already found common ground of some sort.
Earlier, I mentioned the phrase emotional connection. When you connect with somebody, perhaps there's something that draws you to the other person. You have a connection, right? Or maybe you feel a connection with somebody, but maybe you don't feel it with somebody else.
That's right. So if one is discovered, the conversation usually begins to flow more naturally, often resulting in deeper discussion.
But as was mentioned earlier, sometimes it is scary to initiate or to start a conversation with a stranger. But speaking of that word scary, it's time for us to see how it's used in today's
skit.
Let's watch the movie Dead Man Scream.
No way. I do not like scary movies.
It's just a movie. You have nothing to fear.
But I don't like scary things.
I know. You're afraid to ride roller coasters.
Well, they're scary. They go too fast and I'm afraid of falling off.
And you're afraid to take a walk by yourself after dark.
Well, it's scary walking alone at night. Danger is all around.
And you're afraid when you hear strange noises at night.
Well, strange noises are scary. Where do they come from?
Well, I don't think those things are scary. In fact, I'm not afraid of anything.
Oh, really?
Really?
Well, I almost forgot. Our credit card bill came today.
Our credit card bill? Oh, no, now that is scary.
So why aren't you going to open it?
I'm afraid.
Afraid. So it's scary?
Friends, do you consider yourself more of a social butterfly or a wallflower? Here's another question. How do you best connect with other people? And last question, would you like to learn the art of small talk? Well, friends, these are some of the words that we have talked about today and some great questions for you to think about and to talk about in English. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time right here on Studio Classroom.
A friend endures at all times. A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.